A few days ago, something came through me that floored me, and I had to not even be awake or conscious for like the last few days. I literally had to sit still and not even thinking about picking up my phone or coloring. I just had to sit because I could not believe what came through. This whole process of receiving the bridge has tied a bow around itself a few times now. It's come full circle in ways that I couldn't have comprehended. It's over. It's completely over. I just got back from Mount Shasta again yesterday. I spent 2 more days there. I have to go to get the last little nuggets because if they don't come, I have to go get them, and they show up. Boy, do they show up. This journey started. I became a master of presence in Puyallup. I was staring down the street being, and that's when Jill sent me a text saying, something just whispered in my ear that you need to be okay with just being. I was so grateful. She couldn't understand it, but later she did. I was a master at presence. No thought. I moved to Newport. JD sends me 2 critical pieces of media. A man on TikTok saying, you're not alone, you've been separated. You need to learn how to know the sound of my voice. And the other one explaining what life in 5D in this space is like. He sent those to me because they were like family home movies that kept me alive. I was already in that space of the 5D that he sent me. And I don't, where are those people that make those videos? I want to meet them. They are where I am. They made them. They know where this is. And we're all separated from each other. We are the ones that need to rally. And then Stacy sent me a text saying, I've been holding off on this for 2 years, but I need to tell you, my guides are beating down at me that you need to get on the bridge. You need to work on the bridge. Nobody had a clue what that could mean. I speculated. I couldn't have had a clue. So what the bridge is, it gets us back to where we're supposed to be. It's our reset. It's our planetary reset button. It's magical. It's easy. It makes sense. And you won't believe it. You won't believe how far off of where you should be you are, but you'll get it. You'll so get it. The players who brought the bridge to me started with James Carey. We had to meet. So when we were sleeping, our spirits convened that we have to become friends on Facebook and we have to have this exchange because he has to send me a text when the time comes. And the time came. I was in my hot tub on September 7th of 2024 and James sent me a text. Have you seen the Simon Sinek video, What is Our Why? I said, yes, everyone's seen the TED Talk. And that's all that had to happen. Inside of me was this egg, a download, a transmission that came through on December 21st of 21. That is new information that just came through, but my ex-husband can confirm it because he witnessed me. He thought I was dying. So I had the transmission, but he had to send me the text because the egg had to crack and it was time. As soon as he said, what is your why? The egg cracked and it came like a volcano pummeling through me. Planet Earth, what is our why? Why are we here? What's happening with us? What our why and how? And what I saw first were a bunch of men who I was given him the other day, Donald Trump, the big buffoon. Everybody sees the big buffoon. A bunch of him sitting around a table with their cognac and heroin or whatever you did thousands upon thousands of years ago. I had my timeline way off. And these men sitting around said, yeah, it's fun being used for sex and heavy lifting, but let's do something different. Let's make them afraid. Or they started lagging rocks or they started betting. They did some act that kicked in ego, thinking, wanting to change things in the better for the individual. Wow, this is coming through fresh. So these men sitting around, they decided because they couldn't be out in public or out where women were because every time they saw a woman, it moved. And they were like, ugh, that woman is my problem. So these men decided to cover us up. They put clothing on us. They covered our heads. They covered everything so they couldn't see our boobs. They're booby people. They love boobies. They covered us up so they wouldn't get excited when they saw us. And that started thousands of years ago. So what this is about, the bridge is done, but these players had to send me information. JD, Jill, and Stacy had me prepared for when I would be vacuumed to Mount Shasta, put up a 6-foot fence all the way around me, and I would be isolated in a way no human could ever comprehend. In Mount Shasta, one of the most magical places on the planet. People get called there, and I was vacuumed there. That was where What Is Your Why came through. I wrote a manifesto, and then I parked it. And then I was at the lowest point in my life, as broken and ready to die as could be on September 14th. And that was when I was told, go to Mount Shasta. And I argued. They said, go to Mount Shasta, get in your car and move it. So I did. They laid me on a rock for 5 hours, and then they stood me up and they had me make TikTok videos, 5 things that I've never thought of before, about we're equal. Why are we fighting for equality? We've always been equal. And how do you think you can ever own a person? Slavery, children? How do we ever believe we can have these things be ours? This is hard. That was the beginning. We're equal. How heartbroken I was. And that was the beginning of this journey. And I, every day, have done dictation. 20 months. I don't even know how long it's been now. Doesn't matter. Because the ending came through on April 3rd. And then the most important parts came through. Because I had to have somebody in my life say these words to me. And we were having an exchange that wasn't beautiful. But he was there at the beginning of my path. And he was so present, and he was part of that journey. He helped me name my series. But he had to cause trouble, which can't affect me, but it just means, you don't get it? Nobody gets it because nobody knows what I know. He had to cause trouble, but then in the middle of it, he said, I need to ask you a question. And this is what James Carey did. He said, what is our why? So this guy said, who are they? Who are they? The ones I'm referring to. And all I've known was I had a panel. I've had a panel. My channel panel. And that was what happened with Man is Ruining His Own Nest, the channel panel. They were taking me everywhere, and Alden was a part of that. When he said, who are they? Immediately it came out with information about experts in the field, but I was taken places where I am nothingness. I am a blank canvas, and I'm dictating based on their input, and the questions I'm asking are from them, and that's all dictated in documents from them about where I go. Hawaii for the fires, on a cruise ship, to contrast with Hawaii 7 months later. All this had to happen, and I was just the vessel that they were driving to get me to these places to prove points. And all of these points are proven. Everything in the bridge is like evidence to everything. It's evidence. I perceived evidence for the planet. Evidence. So when he asked me, who are they? I answered, and it felt right to me, and I moved on with my life. And I have been back to Mount Shasta twice since then. The mothership called, because she knows. It's like when I was sent to the ocean for God to dictate a chapter in Sedona, the Call of the Messenger. The answers I don't have, they answer for me. So he said, who are they? And it came through the other day, and it's been coming through in bigger pockets. But who they are, this is what you got to get ready for. This is why I have evidence. We are equal. Women and men are equal. We're born naked. And what we're supposed to do is once we're born, be given to the people who love babies just to let us grow a little bit. And then we're on our own. We don't need any care. That's who we're supposed to be. But we're not, because the ones who came through me are the ones sitting around the round table thousands of years ago. And they're the ones who started this in the first place. The ones who knew that they had to cover us up because they didn't want to be responsible for their own actions. They were aroused, and not everybody liked them, apparently. These are who have been with me this last decade. They've been with me for a decade because they've had to right their wrongs. Because the planet is destroying itself. You've seen us. We're creating computers to kill ourselves. It's mad. And there's people out there creating those computers with AI, the ones that will destroy everything. So we're killing ourselves. When this information hits, when you understand it, and you can understand it with this video, it takes you back to when they were sitting around and they started doing this, and the weak women left them, and those weak women started being every woman. Every woman became weak. Those who were rebels, they got killed. They kill strong women. I'm shaking everywhere. They kill strong women. So I've had to be separated and pulled aside for years for this information to come through. And it has, and I'm free. And I'm the strongest woman in the world because I've had to remember who we are. This information is what is meant by waking up. It's not finding your spiritual path, as many call it. Waking up is when you're sitting with yourself and you see that the men who covered us up and who put men in boxes called churches and who put men in control of sex. All right, let's not let them even touch anything until they're married, which is like 2 decades into your life. This is what men did. You have to get married. Women, find a man. He has to put a ring on it and claim you. So that ring shows everybody in the world you are not alive. You don't exist. Whew, they were good. So men put a ring on it. They put us in a house. They were outside. They gave us babies. They thought they were ours. We fell down this hole, and the whole thing with it, because you already know where we are. I don't need to say anything more. They controlled liquor and they controlled drugs. Cannabis, the crop that could have saved the planet. They didn't want it to because it took control away from them. So these men, handful of men, the wrong guy, this little limited corporation, thousands of years ago, started covering us up, and we started going further and further down the rabbit hole. We believed we needed to find partners. Women were so strong, they were scared to death of us. We were so powerful, like me. So men turned the tide, and those men who were there are the men who are begging for the planet to wake up and realize that they did this to this planet. And when you realize this, when you even stop for a half second to think about it, why would we do what we do? Why would we do any of the things we do? We are unlimited. I am proving how unlimited we are. I am soaring to the top. I became a radio personality for 25 years after believing I wasn't worthy of even sweeping floors. I evolved to show you what we're supposed to evolve like, to become the strongest version of ourselves, to reach our ultimate potential. And you don't do it with a ring on it. We are not to get married. We're never to have children, raise them. The truth is, you know the way, and all of those inner voices you all have, and every single one of you have them. I don't care what relationship you're in, you have thoughts about it. When you stop that, and when you no longer make their feelings your responsibility, when you say, okay, you do you now, and I'll do me, you'll all become me overnight. And we will no longer live in this fantasy of men being in charge. It stops immediately. It stops now. Why would we let this go on any further? The men who created this disparity are trying to upright the earth because we are going to die if we don't get this cleaned up. We've gone so far the wrong direction that we have created artificial intelligence to kill the planet because we cannot continue with the lies that we have. In the family structure that you've created, we are back to Game of Thrones. Think about it. You are creating clusters and you want more power than them. That's all it's about. The clusters are family power. I got to be in one of those. I was in the Palmer cluster. And then when I was done, you're get flicked out of that cluster. The cluster still thrives, but you're down here with the nobodies again. I love being a nobody, and you will too. Your nobody is the strongest you've ever imagined. We aren't here to compete with each other. We're not here to find out who's the fastest or the strongest. We're here to be the absolute best we can be, and that's it. Accept it and accept them for who they are, and we're all happy. It's so simple, it's comical.